All right. So, guys, good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Loud and clear. Let me know in chat box. Audible? Yes. Right. Yes. Yes. Okay. So, guys, we'll get started with our session for today. And where did we stop in our previous session? What was our last topic? IP addresses and subnet masking. So in our previous session, we have seen IP addresses and subnet masking. Give me a second. Let me just change. Give me 1 minute, guys. Yeah. All right. So in our previous session, we have seen about IP addresses and subnet masking. Okay. So today what we'll do is we'll enter inside our enterprise network. Okay. So we'll see basically now that you guys have gotten some idea about what is router, what is switch, and IP addresses, subnet masking concept. So we'll get into, basically in almost 95% of companies, what is the network architecture we have. So I'll tell you, in our case also, how did we design our network architecture and all, we'll see. So first of all, we open. So today we'll be seeing enterprise network architecture. Okay. So how basically whose job is this? The networking professionals, the architecture they'll be designing. But being a cybersecurity professional, it's important for us to know as well. It's not that it's their job, I don't have anything to do with that. It's not like that. Even since we are a cybersecurity professional, so we need to definitely know about what is enterprise architecture, how do we set up. So if you know architecture, you can also get into network security job roles. So we have network security job role. So a normal networking professional only know how to set up a network. Okay. Routers, switches, and all how to connect the network. They only know about it. But being a cybersecurity professional, if you know how to design a network and also provide security for it, then it will be a very big advantage for you. So now in the market also, if you see, uh, just the networking roles are gone. Okay, so if companies hiring a networking professional also, they're expecting security point of view as well. As in, it's not just that if you set up a network for a company, it's not enough that anyone can do. So they want someone who can set up networks securely. Okay, so how is this network architecture design? So we have something called NOC teams in companies. NOC means Network Operation Center. Network Operation Center. Usually in companies, defensive side, we have blue teams and red teams. Blue is defense, red is offensive side. So in blue team, it's called SOC team, Security Operations Center. Okay, we have Security Operations Center and Network Operations Center. So both these centers' job role is to make sure that the attacks will not enter inside the company and they have to block it. They are majorly into defense. Now the thing is when it comes to Network Operations Center, so what they'll do is they'll be setting up these firewalls, they'll be setting up these routers, switches, all the networking devices, servers and all they'll be setting up. And when it comes to security operations center, what they'll do is, after you setting up all the networking devices, so you'll be getting logs. Logs means incoming, outgoing traffic. So whatever traffic is coming inside your company, whatever traffic is going outside your company, you'll have logs. So basically what happens is, the SOC team, they will set up SIM tools, SIEM tools, security incident event management tools. So we have tools like Splunk, QRadar, EDR tools like CloudStrike, Trellix, and all. We have many tools. So what these tools will do is, these tools, if you set up in your company, okay, so you need to set up inside your company's network, and whatever traffic is coming from outside, it has to pass through the networking devices with NOC team setup. And SOC, what they'll do is they'll set up these tools so that all this traffic will be monitored by this tool. And if there is any suspicious logs, SIM tool will detect it and raise an alert. So that is how basically a NOC and SOC teams work in companies. So both work together. Okay, it's a separate job roles, but both are main purposes to block the attacks. Okay. So even when we used to create new attacks and perform it on banks, so they also had a SOC teams, NOC teams. So what we do is we create those new attacks, perform it wantedly on them, and check if their SOC teams and NOC teams are able to detect our attacks and block it or not. Okay. So now the thing is, I'll tell you guys how NOC works, as in right now we are dealing with networking devices. So we'll be dealing with network operation center. So usually, how did we set up a network operation center? Okay. So first of all, what I have done is 95% cases in every MNC or every company, the architecture will be same. So first of all, guys, you'll have a router. The router which is connected to your ISP provider. So you'll have a router. So basically, what kind of router? The thing is, Cisco routers you have. Okay, but there is, see, the thing is, when it comes to enterprise scenario, in home, as a home user or business users, people use Act, Hathway and all. Okay, Airtel, Act, Hathway and all as ISP providers. But actually in companies, in major companies, they'll not use Act or Hathway and all. So Act, Hathway are having business plans. They will be able to buy private public IP from them. Okay, but the thing is, these ISPs majorly they concentrate on normal households. So they are not focused only on business. They do have business plans, but their main agenda is not to provide business services. So the thing is, it's not that reliable. Even though you buy a public IP, there might be scenario that, since the ISP provider is assigning a dedicated IP, so sometimes near the ports, near boxes, it will get blocked and you'll stop getting internet. So there will be some internet issues in these kind of normal ISP providers. So in companies, we have ISP providers like RailTels. So you might have not heard about RailTel. So RailTel is also ISP provider, but they are specifically for businesses. So they give dedicated IP, they maintain and make sure that it will not have downtimes in companies. Okay. But either way, the thing is, we'll be using certain ISP providers and we'll be buying a public IP address from them. So when it comes to router, guys, those kind of ISP providers which are designed for only businesses, so you can have Cisco routers and switches and set it up. You'll not have a problem. But when it comes to Act, Hathway, these kind of home providers, service providers, so these kind of service providers, you can't directly attach a public IP address to a Cisco router. So these kind of Act or Hathway and all, so they work in a different process. Their CG netting is little different. So where you can't directly use an enterprise routers and attach an Act FiberNet or Hathway to it with a dedicated public IP. So that will be a problem. So in this case, what we need to do, we can have a normal TP-Link router. So TP-Link is also like small businesses use TP-Link, not like which has 6 antennas. Okay, it's kind of a good router. Costs somewhere around 12,000, 15,000, something like that. So you can use a TP-Link router as well, which is a good router. Okay. For example, let's suppose we are using Act FiberNet. Okay, so since we can't directly attach it to Cisco router, so we are using a normal TP-Link router, which is also an enterprise level only TP-Link also, but still even household people can use TP-Link. So let's say TP-Link router. So I'll tell you why this TP-Link router is a bit special compared to a normal other household routers. I'll open and I'll show you guys. But for now, let's say we are using TP-Link router. So we have ISP provider and we bought a public IP address from them. So there is a concept called port forwarding. Last time I might have told you already. Port forwarding. So port forwarding means nothing but basically if we have a dedicated public IP assigned to us. So we can't assign that dedicated public IP to an individual laptop. We can only give a static private IP, not a public IP. So what we do is in router, we do port forwarding where we bind the dedicated public IP with private IP. Okay. So we bind it with a private IP. Public IP and private IP, we bind it and we enable port forwarding in our router. Okay. So this is the first step. So we need to buy the public IP from ISP provider. It can be Act or Hathway or anyone. Business plan around 400 rupees per month, you'll get a public IP. So once you get it, you can bind it with a private IP in your router. And this private IP, you can assign it to your server or your laptop or anything, and you'll be able to access or you'll be able to make your normal laptop a server, which is globally accessible. So again, as I told you, if you are making your server or laptop publicly accessible, there will be threats as well. So you need to make sure that the publicly accessible system is not having outdated components. Otherwise, hacker can easily hack it. So moving forward, now, once our first step is done, that is setting up a router, normal router with a public IP. Next step is, now we'll be setting up with Cisco router. So we can set up with a Cisco router. As in just simply a LAN cable, we have to connect from TP-Link to Cisco router, we have to connect. So what is the purpose of Cisco router? So Cisco router purpose is you'll be able to, if you want, you can set up a VPN. Okay, so VPN you can set up in your Cisco router, or you can set up access control list. Access control list means you can block certain IP addresses if you want. As in, for example, in banks, how it happens is, let's say on ICICI Bank, they got attacked with so-and-so hacker IP. So what ICICI Bank will do is they'll send an email to all the other banks saying that from this IP I got hacked or I got attacked. So make sure that probably you might also get attacked with the same IP. So the other banks will set it up in access control list and they can block it. Okay. But either way, all these are optional. All these are optional, even Cisco router. If you have a normal router, if you want, you can set it up with Cisco router. And then Cisco router, you can connect it with firewall. Any firewall like Palo Alto firewall, Checkpoint firewall. In companies, we have multiple firewalls, even PFSense. Firewall. So we'll be setting up a firewall. Okay. So if our company is having a firewall, then if we want directly router, we can connect it to our firewall directly. We don't need Cisco router, it's optional. Additional NATing will happen in router again. But it's up to us. If we have access control list and all, you can maintain Cisco router. But it's optional. If you have a normal router, directly you can connect it to your firewall. Or via Cisco router also, you can route the data and connect it to your firewall. So what is the purpose of firewall? So people think that, okay, firewall is just meant to restrict the traffic. But no, firewall has many other features. Like we have features like in firewall, we'll be setting up VPNs for our employees. Employees when they're working from home. So basically what we do is for every employee, we create a VPN credentials. So we create credentials and we give it to every employee. So if employee, there will be some VPN applications, they'll open it, they'll enter their username and password and log in, access VPN server of their company. Through that VPN server, they'll access the other company resources. Okay. So firewall, you can use it even for setting up VPN. And it's more recommended. Cisco router can also set up VPN. Even TP-Link router can also set up VPN. But TP-Link cannot handle more customers. It can easily be, overloaded with too many requests and it will be down. So you can't use a normal TP-Link router. If you have one or two users, it's fine. So you can use a normal TP-Link router. You have an option to set up VPN. Okay, if you have a public IP VPN server, you can set up with a normal router also. But the thing is, it's not recommended. If you have one or two people, or it's in your house where you are 4 family members or 3 family members are there, so they can use router and set up VPN server. That is well and good. But for companies who are having hundreds and thousands of customers, it's not recommended to use a normal TP-Link router to set up VPN. So it's recommended to use Cisco or firewall. Cisco also it's not recommended, firewall only. Why? Because if I'm creating a VPN user, since I'm creating directly inside firewall, what I can do is for normal employee, I can give one type of access. For admin, I can create a different credentials, and for admin, I can give certain level of access. So like that, every user, depending on requirement of the company, I can give certain level of access to them. So firewall will help us to decide and give the restricted access to every employee. Okay. So it's recommended to use firewall to set up VPN server. And apart from that, what else firewall is used for is, it is used as DMZ. So right now, you might not have idea about what DMZ is, but when you get into ethical hacking, you learn about it. So to give you some idea, DMZ means demilitarized zone. DMZ is demilitarized zone. So usually what is the purpose of DMZ is, DMZ purpose is to make sure that the whatever traffic is coming inside company, so once it passes the router, it once it passes the firewall, Usually it reaches isolated area, that is DMZ. So DMZ is not directly connected to company. Okay, just to give you an idea, I'll tell. So for example, guys, this is internet. From internet, traffic is coming to company. So there is a firewall in company. Okay. And let's say this is company's private network. Okay. So now from internet, obviously hacker is trying to send a malicious traffic to company. So once the traffic reaches firewall, so firewall should be able to recognize it and block it. Okay. So once firewall blocks it, the traffic will not enter inside company's private network. So company will not get hacked. But if hacker bypasses the firewall, there are firewall bypassing techniques. In future, you'll see. If they bypass it, then hacker will be able to reach private network of a company. Then company will get hacked. So what companies, what we do is we create an isolated area, a DMZ zone. Isolated area, a DMZ zone. So what happens is, even if hacker bypasses the firewall, he'll be reaching DMZ zone. Since DMZ zone is not directly connected to company, so company will have time to react. Okay, they'll get to know that by the time DMZ gets hacked, company will get alerts and they'll get to know that there is something fishy is happening. So a hacker is trying to hack our company. So let's understand who is it and block the hacker before the hacker enters inside the private network. Getting it, everyone? DMZ. So DMZ is demilitarized zone. It's an isolated area. So even if it gets hacked, it's not a problem for company. So company will have enough time to react to the attacks. Okay. So we can set up firewall as DMZ as well. So all the traffic comes in, it has to pass through firewall, and firewall is also isolated area. It's like a normal system, isolated area. So the company will get to know if any attack is happening, the attacker is trying to send any payloads or alerts and all, you'll be able to get it in firewall. So firewall, you can use it for VPN, you can use it for DMZ. So we are using a firewall called pfSense firewall. So in future, you guys will also be setting up pfSense in your own system. So pfSense firewall we are using. So obviously it is used for VPN, it is used for DMZ, and also pfSense is used as a firewall. Okay. All right. So till now, router is done. Okay, Cisco router. From there, firewall it came. Traffic comes to firewall. So in firewall, we'll keep all the rules and regulations. If whatever traffic is coming inside, if it is following all the rules and regulations, then only it will be allowed inside. Okay. So from firewall, where will it go? It will go to switch. It will go to our switch. Cisco switch or any switch. That to manage the switch, not unmanaged. So Cisco switch managed, so it will get in. Okay, managed Cisco switch. So now we have entered inside from firewall, it has reached the Cisco switch. So in Cisco switch, what we will do, we'll create multiple VLANs, guys. Virtual LANs or virtual networks, VLANs. For example, let's say ER segment is there. Okay. So in ER segment, let's say Okay. So in ER segment, let's say we have admins. Okay. So admins who needs full control over the network. So we need admin. Okay. And we are having students. Okay. So we are having admins. We are having students. And we have, let's say we are going to conduct even red teaming activities and all. So you need to connect as an hacker or attacker. Okay. So I need a VLAN for attacker because for attacker there will be different rules. Okay, attacker. And then I have servers. I have server. Okay. So we have servers in our company. So in ER segment. So obviously server access. Server is also in same network. Attacker is also same network. Student also same network. Admin also same network. But here the condition should be in such a way that admin should be able to access student network or attacker network or servers. They need full control of all the VLANs. But students should not be able to access admin or students should not be able to access server. Okay. Attacker, let's give access to server, not admin. So server should not be able to reach out to anyone again. Okay, so server should be isolated. So it should not be reaching out to any other networks. So in switch only we can create such, first of all, we have to create multiple VLANs. So for example, guys, VLAN, I'll name it as VLAN 10 for admin. So I have already done it. So VLAN 10. So VLAN 10 means anyone who is connected to this network, I have given this range 192.168.10.1 to 254. This is the network range I have given to admin. So if you see right now, I'm connected to switch. So I'm connected to Ethernet, as you can see here, Ethernet symbol. Okay. So if I open my command prompt and if I type ifconfig, sorry, ipconfig. Okay. So you guys will be able to see I'm having 192.168.10 series. Okay, because I am admin, so that means I have in switch you'll have multiple ports, right? So let's say this switch is 24 ports. Okay, so in total we have 1 to 24 ports. So what I have done in those 24 ports, one port will be trunk port. Trunk port means it's a common port where from router there will be one port number one of switch will be keeping it as trunk. Okay, where internet is connected to it. Okay, so it doesn't belong to any category, as in not admin, not student, nothing. It is a trunk port. So usually every managed switch will need to make one port as trunk port where internet should be connected. So all the other ports where admin will be there, students will be there, attackers will be there, they should be able to access internet. So in switch, one port should be trunk port. And let's say port number 1 is trunk. Port number 2 to port number 5, I'll make it as admin port. Okay, so LAN cable, if I connect it to port number 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of switch, I'll be getting admin access. When it comes to students, we can create another VLAN. That is VLAN 20 I'll create. I have created. So VLAN 20, So whichever student is connected to port number 6 to 10. Okay, let's say port number 6 to 10, I have given it to students. So whoever student is connected to port number 6 to 10, ports of switch. So they'll be getting student network ID as in 192.168.20.1 to 254. So this is the network address of students. So if you see for admin, I gave it third octal 10. For student, I gave 20. It's up to you. You can give any. Okay. But we need to do this configurations and switch by connecting it to console port and all we need to configure. And then for attackers, what I've done is, let's say port number 11 to 15 ports. I've given it to attackers. So anyone who is connected to that ports, they'll have 192.168.30. Okay, 30.1 to 254 possible IP range per attacker. So this is VLAN 30, I'm calling it. Okay, so in switch you can add tags. For every VLAN you create, you can give a name to it. So to be organized, I gave VLAN 10, 20, 30. And then for server, I have given VLAN 40. Okay, VLAN 40. So if you see for VLAN 40, that means for servers. So servers are connected to, let's say port number 16 to 20. Ports are for servers. So if you are connected to these ports, your IP address will be from 192.168.40 series. 40.1 to 254. Okay. So this is in ER segment, the server range, IP range. So since we have already server and I'm connected to admin, for example, I'm connected already to admin. So I have this IP. Now we have server. Okay, you guys have seen the server. So basically from admin network, I can connect and access server. So if you see, if I open my browser, so one is pfSense firewall is there in our admin. Okay, 10.1 is pfSense firewall IP. So we are able to access pfSense. Okay, and for server is in 40. So I'll show you the server IP. Let's see. 192.168.40.201 is server IP. So in this server, I can log in. So I can log in. And as you can see in server, I have multiple systems installed. So I can open, let's say, Windows machine inside the server. Your Windows machine inside the server. So like that Kali Purple, or OWASP, Metasploit, Windows 7. So like that multiple machines we can install in server. Okay, we can access them remotely. So server address is 40. Only admin can access this again. So as a student, if you connect and try to access those IPs, you will not be able to because student is restricted from reaching the server. So why did we keep, how did we keep this restriction? Firewall. So firewall is the major part of organization. So here only we have to write all the rules, regulations. So in switch, we have created multiple VLANs, right? So in firewall, if you open, you'll be able to see multiple interfaces. I'll show you. For example, our firewall, I'll log in. So once we log in, you guys are able to see here admin, student, attacker, server. So these are the VLANs which we have created inside our switch. So you can see 40 series, 30 series, 20, 10. Okay, normal, whoever is connected to normal ER segment Wi-Fi, they'll have this 192.168.0. But if you connect via LAN to our switch, you'll have 10 series. Okay, or if as student, if you connect 20 or 30 or 40. Okay, so like this. So all the rules and regulations here in firewall will go to rules. You guys can see for WAN interface, that is .0, admin .10 will write rules and regulations. All the traffic you guys can see 3.15 gigab GB data has passed through. Okay, since we have switched it on. So this is only admin. Again, students are there. Okay, so if any student is connected and they're passing the traffic, you'll be able to see. Attacker is there. If they're passing, you can see. Server, yeah, we are using server. You can see around 1.92. So like that. And VPN. So via VPN, if anyone is connected and trying to access resources, you'll be able to see. For again, for VPN, we have two types of credentials. For students, we have a separate credentials. For admin, we have separate credentials. And you guys can see admin VPN rules, student VPN rules. Okay. So admin star means anything. So admin, you can see the rule tick mark means it's allowed. Cross mark means it's not allowed. So you can see we are allowed to access any network. But you can see here cross student is not allowed to any network. They are only allowed to 40 and 20. 20 is their own network. 40 is server. Okay. So like this, we can set up restrictions in a firewall. And in similar fashion, guys, the thing is in a company, if there is a marketing team, for marketing team will create a separate VLAN, and for marketing team will allow Facebook, social media and all. We have developer teams or IT teams will create a separate VLAN, and for them will block all social media. So like that, whatever rules we want to set up, depending on our requirement, we have to create multiple VLANs in our switch. And for each VLAN, we have to write different rule set in firewall. Got it, everyone? Understood? Okay. So this is the enterprise architecture. Whatever security devices are there, it will be in between router and switch only. Okay. Switch again is connected to all our student, admin, attackers, servers. That means private network of company. Okay. So between router and switch only, we have to implement firewall, IDS, IPS. IDS means intrusion detection systems, intrusion prevention systems. Everything we have to set it in between router and switch only. Clear? Okay. So how we set up in organizations. So obviously for switch and all, we have to do configurations. Router, we have to configurations, firewalls and all. Okay. So if you see, normally, if you see TP-Link router, so let's say I'm accessing TP-Link router page. I have to disconnect from Ethernet device. Let me connect to ER segment. Disconnect and okay. So now that we are connected to ER segment, now I'll go to 0.1. accessing router page. Okay, so I'm entering credentials. So if you see, when it comes to TP-Link router, guys, okay, so this Wi-Fi router, this is also like enterprise graded only, TP-Link router. So if you see in TP-Link, normally, as you guys can see, one is port forwarding. I have told you in NAT forwarding, you will have port forwarding. So where you have to bind one private IP with the public IP. So if you start it, that means binding will be started. If you switch it off, there will be no binding. Okay. So whenever we want to do any attacks and all, then only I'll switch it on. Otherwise, I'll not. Why? Because again, since my system will be publicly accessible, it's a threat. So moving in, you can see DMZ, demilitarized zone. Okay, so we can also tell or set up a DMZ zone from router itself, but it's not recommended to use normal router. Use router only for port forwarding, nothing else. So if you have options like you have DMZ option, if you see VPN server, you can easily set up a VPN. You can see enable and you can generate a certificate and you can just export the configuration file, and any mobile phone or any laptop you can install OpenVPN application. And if you open this configuration file, it will ask you for username password. If you type it, you'll be connected to router. Okay. So the thing is, with router, simply it's easy to create OpenVPN because it's TP-Link router. You have this VPN server and all. It's enterprise router. But normal router, home routers, you'll not find these options. Okay. But either way, so you have VPN option, you have port forwarding option, you have DMZ option, you have security features like firewall. Okay, in the router itself, firewall, access control is also there. IP and MAC binding is there. So a lot of other access, other features are there. But we are not going to use any of these features. Okay, VPN feature and all, because if you have one or two people who are accessing or five people at max, it's fine. You can use your router can handle. More than five people or 10 people, it can't handle. So that's why it's recommended to have firewall. In firewall only, you have to do the configurations. Got it, everyone? Okay. So enterprise level, from router to Cisco router to firewall, firewall to switch. So in switch, you have to create multiple VLANs and you have to set up your network. Okay. And if you have CC cameras, okay, let's say we have CC cameras. So we can create another VLAN. Okay, we can name it as VLAN 50 and create CC cameras. And for all the IP cameras, we can set it up in such a way that only admin can access IP cameras. No one else should be able to access IP cameras. Okay, so otherwise it will get hacked. So like that, we can set up all the rules and regulations, not only for company guys, even normal household. So you can also set up the same in your own house as well. So for setting up firewall, what do you need? You need a simple CPU, normal computer, normal desktop is there, i5 processor, 8 GB RAM or 4 GB RAM is also fine. So you can have a dedicated system. You'll not have Windows operating system. Firewall has its own ISO file. pfSense has ISO, like that firewall has ISO. So you have to install pfSense as main operating system in that machine and leave it like that. Okay. And you have to connect your router to pfSense. And in pfSense, you can set up VPN and all. And if you want your mobiles to be secure, you can connect your pfSense VPN server and you can use your mobile internet or your Wi-Fi you can use and all. Okay, but provided the thing is you need to have public IP, dedicated one, if you want to have a VPN server. Okay, clear, everyone? So any doubts, guys, online? Understood how enterprise architecture is? Yes. All right. So now, moving forward, in future, you'll be getting access to this server as well. Okay. So we have given in firewall, we have given access to for students to access server, that is 40 series. Okay. So now the thing is in server, what we have done. So usually we can set up our SOC, Security Operations Center. Okay. So we can set up SOC, Security Operations Center in this server. Okay. So where whatever traffic comes in and all, we can set up a SOC and, for example, an attacker is performing attack. Okay. Since we have a SOC setup in server, so we need Windows domain controllers, we need Active Directories, we need, and we need Elastic, Kali Purple, these kind of operating systems. If you have, it has defensive tools as well. So basically what they'll do is they'll automatically, if attacker performs any attack, server generates logs. So since you have set up SOC in your server, so SOC tools will be able to analyze the traffic and raise alerts for you. Okay. So you can set up SOC. And apart from that, what we have done is for practice purpose, we have created multiple machines. Multiple machines we have created. So few machines are beginner level machines we have created. Okay. So this is bit easy. Okay, easy machines where outside you'll see Metasploitable machine or OWASP broken web application. So anywhere outside. So if you want them to teach you cybersecurity ethical hacking, they'll be using machines that is Metasploitable machine, and they'll be using OWASP broken web applications, these servers. OWASP BWA is a server. And apart from that, Metasploitable. So these are basically, guys, when it comes to Metasploitable, for doing network pen testing or for network security, Metasploitable will be helpful. As in you can scan Metasploit and you can find open services and that service related exploits you can do. Okay. So you'll be setting up network level. As a network level security knowledge you'll get. When it comes to OWASP, this is specifically designed for web related attacks. So OWASP BWAs will be hosting 35 different web applications. So you'll be getting ID on web related attacks with OWASP BWA. But these are beginner machines. So if you do this, you will get idea what is what. So what is network security or what is web security, you'll get idea. But anywhere outside, you'll only see BWA or Metasploitable. But we have also set up intermediate level labs. So intermediate level, basically what we have done is we have set up hub machines. Okay, hub machines. Basically, these are not directly vulnerable. In this also, you'll have medium level, easy level, medium level, and high level secured machines. So when it comes to these machines, OWASP, BW are metasploitable. You'll get an idea what is what, but there will be no security implementations on them. So if you work in real time, you'll not be getting much idea about how it works because you are used to only OWASP and metasploitable machines. So real time, you'll not get complete idea if you actually get inside a company and start working. So obviously they'll have some security implementations. It will not be that easy to break them. So the thing is, in intermediate level and advanced level, I have set up some hub machines, which will give you advanced level idea on how web pen testing or network pen testings work. Okay, so in servers, we have set up these and also SOC so that when attack happens, it should be able to trigger. So defensive and offensive, both we have set up in this server. So even high level or advanced level, hub machines we have set up. There are many machines. So you have to do enumerations. You have to, it's like, there will be CTFs. So there is something called capture the flag challenges, CTFs. So if you have heard about CTF challenges, it's like a game. So many companies conduct CTFs to hire people as well. So what CTF is means, normally how AI works, as in if I want to use OpenAI or if I want to use any other AI, OpenClaw or anything, basically I have to add balance in my account and then I'll get an API key or access tokens. Okay, I'll get a token. And what I'll do, if I'm developer, I'm using Git, I'll, since I'm developing the environment and all, I'll push the access tokens into my development environment. So there are many chances for these tokens to get exposed. Okay, even cloud environment. So you have API keys, tokens. So they'll get exposed. Okay, if at all the environment is not configured properly, so your file system will get exposed. Your tokens will get exposed. So a lot of damage can happen. For example, if I have your access key, what I can do? I can use your account and I can do my tasks and ultimately you will get the bill. Or I can access all your files which you have in your server or in your cloud environment and I'll be able to misuse it, your customer data and all. Or I can use your cloud resources. Cloud, how it works, pay per use. The more you use, the more you pay. The less you use, the less you pay. So I can use your cloud resources and I can do crypto mining, Bitcoin mining. For Bitcoin mining, we need a lot of resources to, solve complex algorithms. So mainly these API tokens, access tokens are very important. So the thing is, in CTFs, the main game is you need to find some secret keys in that server. In order to find that secret keys, wantedly there will be some or other vulnerable services kept. So you yourself have to run all the tools, do information gathering, do enumeration. You have to use all your logic and you need to find out where that secret key exists. That is CTF, capture the flag. Sometimes that key will be encrypted. So you have to decrypt it. Okay, it will be in hash format. Okay, you have to convert it into human readable. So like that, there are a lot of challenges like these. So what will happen is if you, start investing your time in playing the CTFs, playing as in not actually playing, it's actually you're learning. Okay, you'll be using a lot of hacking tools, hacking resources. Mainly, you'll think with your brain a lot. Okay, lot of logical thinking is needed. So if you are successful in breaking and finding those secret keys, it will be very helpful in companies. So many companies, what they do is for hiring, they keep this CTF challenge. Okay, and companies pay you as well. If you can break this machine, find the keys, so you'll be getting this much money. So even IITs and all, they launch, they have CTF challenges and all. Okay, so in ER segment, our students are globally ranking 63. Okay, they want 3 lakhs recently in IITs and all. So CTF challenges will be helpful, and many companies will hire you based on CTF challenges. So in our server, we have set up those lab environments as well in future when you get it. So you'll also be involved in it. So now that you understood the architecture, in future, when we say that, access these labs, access those labs, you should get an idea about what we are talking and where those labs exist. So where you are and where those labs exist and what kind of labs we have. Okay. Yeah, everyone. Yeah. So guys, this is about our enterprise architecture. Okay, so today I want to stop it with this because we have to start OSI model. So OSI model is heart of networking. So if you start OSI model, it will take at least 2 hours. So today's task is do research on OSI model. OSI model has 7 layers. OSI has 7 layers. In your BTech, you'll have computer networking subject where 6 months of the subject involves the 7 layers. If there are 5 units, 7 layers, like first 3 layers in 1 unit and remaining each layer in one unit, it will be. But actually, it's easy to understand if you put some efforts. You don't need 6 months of time to learn it. But either way, OSI model is hard because any attack which happens across globe, in entire globe, any attack which happens, any cyber attack, it happens in one of the 7 layers of OSI. Okay, one of the 7 layers. In each layer, different types of attacks happens. So you need to definitely learn about it. In every interview, they'll ask you about OSI. Okay. So OSI model, do research, and next session, OSI model will start. Okay. Mostly Akhil sir will come up. So OSI model he'll be taking up. So make sure that you do prior research so that you'll be able to connect to it more. Okay. Any other queries, guys? Yeah. All right. So guys, I hope you understood this and remember this. This you'll not find this information anywhere until and unless you are working in company. So this is some extra information, only you get it if you are working in company. So it's very valuable. Remember it. So in future, if you attend interviews and all, you can, talk a lot of things about enterprise architecture and all. So it is very good topic to impress the interviewer as well. So because they'll know that, okay, you have good standard knowledge because no one outside is aware about the enterprise architectures, how it works. So remember this, do some research on it, and also work on OSI model for tomorrow's session. Yes. All right, guys. So I'll stop it with this for today. So tomorrow Akhil sir will be starting up with OSI model. So prepare well and come back this. Okay. Do you have any other queries you can ask? Otherwise, we can catch up in next session. Okay. All right. So thank you all. Thank you so much. Have a nice day, everyone. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Information online, like setting up these time machines in servers. Only about programming that topic. How to set up machines in server. So see, the thing is you can set up in your VPN, in your VMware as well. In your normal system also, you can set it up in your VMware. But only thing is, normal system doesn't have unlimited hard disk or unlimited RAM, right? So you have limited RAM, limited resources. So based on that, like if you have 8 GB RAM, you can only set up run two systems simultaneously. If you have 32 GB RAM, you can run 8 systems simultaneously. So in VMware also, you'll be setting up Metasploitable OS app, and if you want one hub machine also, you can set up, but provided it needs resources which your system should support. Okay, hard disk space and all. So you can install as many as you want. Like if you have, let's say for example, just imagine that you have a library, and in library there is a bookshelf. The size of the bookshelf is nothing but the hard disk size. So the bigger your hard disk is, the more books you can fit. Okay. So now there is a table in the same library. On that table, let's say your table size is nothing but your RAM size. The bigger your table size is, the more books you can take from the shelf and read it at a time. Are you getting? So in your VMware, like in your bookshelf, you can keep 100 books. But if your table can only fit 2 books, so you can only take 2 books. Once you read it, you'll put it back. So your table becomes empty again. That means RAM will be reallocated back to your system. So the thing is, you can install machines like OAS, BWA, or Metasploitable one hub machines and all. But you can't run all these machines at a time. So what you can do is once you can switch on Kali Linux and some other machines, you can switch on 2, 3 machines, it will work. So you can set up one hub and all. So since our server has around 96 GB RAM and all, so we can run multiple machines at a time. So when you connect, it's like in the network, there are multiple systems where you can target in real time. So if you want, you can set it up in your machine as well, which anyways, you have to do it. We'll be showing it to you guys and sharing resources. They are all machines are freely available. All right.